Well, hello friends, and welcome back to the cabin. Something that we're going to have to do in this video is get that new battery that we've got in here in the juice shack and get it hooked up. So this is what I'm going to have to do. We're going to end up taking this battery, if you haven't seen that from the last video, and we're going to put it in this rack over here where we've got those other three. So I'm going to have to kill the power. Let's see where we're at right now. We are at 81%. So I'll wait till that charges up to 100%, and then we'll get that battery installed over here into the unit. So that'll be really nice to have that extra 4,000 or 5,000 watts this winter. And then of course we've got that new cord in there that I need to get that installed as well. So that's something else that we're going to do so that we can use the generator to power that system up in the winter in the event that we don't get enough sunshine to charge up the batteries. But if you didn't get to see in the last video, I'm going to show you this hearth that we made for the wood stove here in the workshop. I tell you, that's really going to be nice, and it turned out really well. So this one we had to use temporarily. Yeah, we really wanted to use this potbelly stove right here, but this is the problem that we were having, being able to make a transition from this to 6 inches where I could hook my pipe together. This is an oddball measurement. I tried using a piece of 6-inch and squeezing it, but it wouldn't go on there. 8-inch is way too big. And when I went online to look at different manufacturers, the specs that they had on them, this, like I said, this is like almost right at 9 inches, 8 7/8. Couldn't find anything that would spec to that. So we're having one made. So in the meantime, that will actually give me a chance where I can take a wire brush that off. We can repaint it with some black heat paint. And I would like to take those letters and put some gold paint on top of those. It would really look nice, and then bring it back in here and install it. Because all I would have to do is come up the pipe just a short distance up here. I'll have to take and put another damper in here like we've got down here. But then we can hook this up once we get that adapter, and then we can have that little potbelly stove in here. But yeah, I think this is really going to be nice. And we may just go ahead and put us a small rocking chair over here in this corner where I can sit there and whittle. You know what? That sounds like a new series of videos. How to whittle in a rocking chair in front of the fireplace in the winter at the workshop. I'm just teasing you. Anyway, I'm going to wait till this unit gets charged up, like I said, to 100%. We'll get that cut off, get that battery moved over there in that cabinet, and get all that hooked up. I think what I'm going to do to start with is we will take this cord out right here. We'll replace it with this one right here that I had heating up by the sun so that it would be pliable. That way I don't have to walk across it anymore, and it will be inside and it will be ready to go. That's our new 3-prong extension cord. So let's get that put in. Staples pulled out of here. We'll reuse those though. Shouldn't be too hard to get out like that. Take these screws out. So now we're going to have to try to dig out all this insulation that I stuffed in there, but I think we can reuse it all and put it right back in there if we can save it. And we did a good job of stuffing this hole in there, so. Alright, since this doesn't actually go into there because that's a 4-prong and this is the new one that we've got, what I'm going to do is just take and run some tape around there just to kind of hold this in place as I pull this through the wall. There we go. Now we'll go on the other side and pull that through. I don't know if that's a little hard to see in there or not, but you pull this out. A whole lot of insulation there. There we go. And we got the other end right there. Now we'll get this fed up there and get that connected. And then we'll pull all the slack back through that way. Okay. like that. And we'll be back in business. All right, we'll get this put back together as well. Get that in there. Get that insulation put back. Now, let's see if we can get that shoved in around there. Did not want to come out. Well, I went in and checked on the dogs, and what we're getting ready to do is to kill the power to everything. So we're going to turn the main off to the cabin right there. Our lightning arrestor, I think I'll just leave it on right there. I'm getting ready to turn the main off right here. And then we're going to take the breaker, the battery breaker, we're going to turn it off. And we're also going to kill this switch over here. And this switch as well. So I don't have any voltage going in through here now. I'm going to kill all of these. I'll turn that off. Let's see, let's do it in reverse order. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to turn our power off. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Then I'm going to take my ohm meter. Let's see if we've got anything here. There's 1. I've got nothing showing up there. I'm going to cut these straps off. We definitely don't want to be working around power because you can get fried doing this. Check that one more time just to make sure we've got nothing. Okay, here's our red side. And there's our black side. Nothing. Well, I'm going to go ahead and change these dip switches because these actually tell the inverter which battery position that one is. So we've got this one in the number 1 position. What I'm doing is right here. So we've got all of these set on the top side except the first one, which is this one right here. Okay, then number 2, we want to set it as 2. We want 1 down, or number 2 down, and then the rest of them up. That's number 2 down. Okay. Then on number 3, we want them the first 2 down and the rest of them up. And then on number 4, we want number 3 down and the rest of them up. Okay, so we've got this position number 1, number 2, number 3, and now number 4. So let's go ahead and get our cables hooked up to the bus bar. Stuff it in the back there. Yeah, right here, maybe that's getting you a shot. This is what I'm putting on right here, this nut. Bolt holding that hot wire on the bus bar. Get the black side tied down. We don't want to over tighten it. We want to make sure it's tightened good. Alright, the other thing that I'm going to need to do is put this other communication cable in there. So we want to come out of the battery, on this one. Let's see if I can get this fed up through here somehow. Get in there. There we go. Okay, and from down here, we want to plug into the battery side. We can get it in there. There we go. Now. That's the only way I can get those to stay on there, because like I say, those bus bars aren't really made for those great big huge cables right there. Anyway, I think that we are ready to actually turn these back on. So we'll go ahead and hit the power here. 1 and 2, 3. Okay, I believe we can turn these back on. And there. Okay, we'll go ahead and turn this back on. Like that. Turn this back on. There. And we will turn our load back on, and we'll also turn our batteries back on. We're back online, and turn the cabin back on. We've got everything hooked up on the inside in here where our generator's at, so I'm going to go ahead and close the door here. Now I'll run in here real quick and check and see if I got any power in the cabin. Well, we got ceiling fans going, and we've also got a light on over here at the power panel. So I'd say that little job that we did turned out okay. So I can go ahead and stick a fork in all of this and call it done. I just wished I had the money to buy 2 more batteries. I'll tell you what, friends, that came from a subscriber. I'm not supposed to know who it was, but it was a donation to the Outpost up here. And I'll tell you what, I didn't have any way of being able to purchase that myself. But it's really, really appreciated. They want to remain anonymous, but I'll tell you what, we certainly did need that. And they are very expensive now. They are right at tax and all, and with the shipping to get it here was like $1,500. So very, 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 very thankful for that. Wish I had the money to buy the other 2, but maybe someday. Anyway, glad we got that completed. Well, we seem to have the lights back online over there. The system seems to be running okay, and it's got the little smiley face on it. And all of these batteries here, if I check them, they will all appear to be running. This one's charged full, charged a little bit, charged full, and this is the new one we put in, and it is charging up. I got up here a while ago without the camera to see how easy that this thing might be to get stuck in this part that we put through the wall, and I climbed up here and I started putting it in there, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't get the camera out, because I'll tell you what, that was really awkward. It might look easy, but it was not. As I've got a wire, I'm going to come around and support this, coming back up to here because of all of this weight right there. I think it's easier to do it where I'm looking at it. Get one twist on that anyway. Kind of like that, and cut the extra off. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go around this. I'm going to circle around it. And we want to cut this off right here. I'll get that wrapped around. And we should have that portion, I believe. Check and make sure we're straight up and down. Well, there we go. It's installed. I'm going to leave it like that and we're going to try building a fire. And if it doesn't draw too well, I can always add another section from up top. But we're going to try it like that first. The other thing that I need to do is drill a small hole right here and probably one up there to hold that against into the wood right there, because it's just sitting there. Make that look a lot better. But I'll tell you, sometimes you can luck up and get your pipe just right where it will draw great, but other times you have to be up above what your roof line is. We're going to try that because I've actually got two more sections right here that I can add to that, which is another what, 4 feet. That would get it up higher, yeah, than the peak. So we'll give it a shot like this, build a small fire, and see how it's going to draw. It's doing much better now that I opened this damper back there. Totally forgot all about that. Yeah, it's drawing good, just like it is with just a little bit of fire in there too. I mean, I don't have a whole lot driving it, right? So we may have lucked out and not have to add any more. Yeah, I think it's going to work pretty good. I almost forgot there's something else that I did that I wanted to show you all, since we put this new extension cord in here to be able to use the charge verter from the generator. Check this out. Okay, right here is the charge verter, so let me turn it on and I'll show you what I did. If you can follow this menu with me, it might be a little bit hard to see, but right here you see voltage. That's what our batteries are set at right there. Currently it's, I don't have my glasses on, it looks like 54.2 volts. Okay, the current, what I did was I went in here and I set right here 12 amps. That's all it will take at one time. So the 12 amps that I've got it set at in there, if we're running the generator, that means it's going to be taking in, we've got 120 out here, right? Or maybe 110, 125, you know, it's going to fluctuate, right? We're probably going to be putting in somewhere in the neighborhood of 14 to 1500 watts at one time, which, you know, like I say, is rated for 12, that's at 12 amps, and the cord's rated for 15, which I'm at the 80% rule that they use. So I'm good to go. And the generator, I mean, it starts the first time, and yesterday I tried turning it on and I had juice going in there, so I was being able to pull power from the sun. I was able to put it in through the generator. So on days that we don't have a lot of sun, and it may be getting up late in the day, we haven't quite charged everything up, we can always fire up the generator and run it for an hour or so, whatever it takes, because like I said, it will put in right about 1500 per hour, 1500 watts per hour. So I thought I would show you that. Let's run down here and I'll show you the back of the workshop, the little concrete job that I did back here. It's nothing fancy, right? But it works. And I didn't have to put any trim around it or anything like that. And I believe that, you know, when it does rain, it'll be able to shed the rain off, go from one board to the next and not have any problems. So now that we've got that thing hooked up and ready to go, all we need is a little bit of cool weather, which I'll tell you what, we're getting that every day now. So, well friends, I've got an opportunity to work on a little project that's going to help Jennifer out. I promised her that I would do that up in North Carolina, so we're going to jump in the truck and I'll see you when we get up there. Well, friends, I want you to take a look at this post right here. Check out what the carpenter bees, I believe, is what has done that. So that is a corner post that goes up to a porch, and then here's the others along the back side of this house, which I am at Jennifer's grandmother, who, if you remember, passed away several months ago. But I'm going to try to repair that post because these other posts are really in good shape, but we do not want the porch falling in, so that's something that we're going to have to take care of. So I thought that I would bring the camera up here and let you all see this little project as well. So here's the idea that I have. I'm going to take and build a form and set it right here beside that post. We're going to pour that full of concrete and let that set up. We're going to do the same thing over here next to the house where the foundation is. Then right up here at the top, I'm going to cut a beam on the sawmill. It will go all the way across the top here. And then our new post will go underneath that, and I'll be able to gird up every one of these floor joists as well. So that's the idea that I've got that I think that's going to work. So we're going to get busy. We stopped and picked up 3 bags of mortar mix, and that's what we're going to work on. Alright, y'all can kind of see what we're working on the back side of the house here. There's really no way to bring that concrete down because that used to be a porch area that got closed in. That's the reason the top of the steps don't go anywhere. But yet they wanted a place to get down to the backyard here. So I'm going to walk right up through here and see if I can get my truck down through here so that we can bring that mortar mix down. I don't think that I can get up that hill, honestly, friends. So I think we're just going to have to carry it down. Check out this old outhouse right here beside this humongous black walnut tree. Well, I took a little bit of time off camera right here, and I'll show you what I've done. I kind of rigged up a small form right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in that. I'm going to let that harden up. So that's kind of a footer for the next post. It's going to go right beside this one. Then I've kind of rigged up over against the wall right here to be able to pour down in there because we want kind of like a flat area right here. We're going to set another post against this wall, and that will get us a foundation, plus we'll be able to anchor it to the wall. And then the top of our post will sit on the new beam that we're going to put across up top here. Give me some water. All right, all right, go ahead. Soak it real good over here. Okay, hold that a second. Yeah, we're going to use this to kind of level it because we don't have a level. Since we've got a 90-degree angle and this post was set plumb, we can actually do this. How about that? Who would have thought? Alright friends, that's all the concrete that I had, but that gets it up to kind of like where I need it. And then this one down here is just like I need it. Alright, I'm standing down here on the bottom, but like I said, I'm going to cut a beam that'll go across that will undergird all those floor joists. Then we'll have that post coming up on the end. I'll attach it to the wall. Then we'll have a post coming up right here, going up beside this one. It will undergird this end of it, and then we can just cut this post right out of the way. So that takes care of this little project for right now. I'm actually, like I said, up in North Carolina, so I'm going to head back to Tennessee. We'll see if we can get some more lumber cut up for the walls on the inside of the workshop. Well, I thought I'd just blow it off a little bit. I'm going to have to mill up about 3 or 4 more logs to get enough material to do the inside. So I think we're going to have to see you on the next video when we process everything out there at the 2 stations that we got. Anyway, thanks so much for stopping by, friends. We certainly do appreciate it and look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.